Welcome everyone to round 5 of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series, presented by Bigpond Sport, Extreme Sim Gear and Direct Clutch Services. Jay Kennedy in the host chair at Circuit Zolder, and alongside me I've got Stephen Sandman Clark. G'day Sandman.
G'day Jay, looking forward to this mate. 25 laps around Zolder for the first time in our series. No one was able to stop Renz Brookman in qualifying, but still we're in for a great race.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a fantastic one. Also joining us, Jason Bean, the newest member of the team. G'day, mate.
G'day, boys. Great to be back. And tell you what, qualifying had lots to offer, which I'm sure we'll touch base on throughout the race. But going to be a great night here. Fantastic new addition to this series.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. It's definitely a track that I don't know if the drivers love it, hate it, or love to hate it, or hate to love it. I'm not sure which one it is, but maybe all of the above. It's going to be a good race anyway, either way.
Definitely spices things up, doesn't it? You know, we talk about when we continually keep going back to circuits like Phillip Island and all the rest of it. These guys, the front runners, have a lot of data to fall back on and car setups, but it really you know, mixes things up when we go to a place like Zolder where we are for the first time, puts everyone on a level playing field, and makes for a really interesting qualifying session, as we just saw.
Well, as we did see, of course, you know, Renz Brookman has pole position 132.235. And we've got a gaggle of guys that are so close, filling out P2 through to P6, and you know, the likes of Justin Ruggier, Richard Hampstead, Josh Muggleton, Madison Down, John Emerson. It's a great mix of guys up front this week.
Yeah, it's a really different grid, I guess you'd say, to what we're used to seeing. You see guys coming out of the pits actually practicing their starts. Renz Brookman, as you said, on pole position from Justin Ruggier. Madison Down would be a little bit happier to start from P3, but still he won't be overly happy. Richard Hampstead in 4, Josh Muggleton 5, Emerson in 6. Those guys second through to 6. They had a massive, intense battle all race in the early race tonight, so watch out for those guys battling nice and hard and nice and fierce like we always expect. Brad Ryan will start from 7th position, then Vale Richards, Chris Osborne, great drive by him in qualifying to move up to 9th. And it's Mitchell McLeod, Sean Kelly, Cal Watmore, Matty Barron to make his debut in the main event. Then Michael Fabian, Simon Black, Mitch Abril, Sam Collins, Cohen May, Richard Stamanovic, Dave Hingston, Luke Graham, Marty Atkins, and Oleski Aloma.
Well, I'll tell you a guy that I'm stoked to see actually join the ranks this week is Matt Barron, of course, first time V8sonline debutant. You know, he's a great young kid, 17 years of age, out of Brisbane here in Australia, and just got his P's. So, you know, he's another one of these very talented young guys that he's been working very, very hard to get himself into the top split and have a crack at the main game.
I think he and Madison were doing a bit of partying over the last couple of weeks, finishing high school, so I'm sure they're well settled now behind the wheel. Yeah,
look, I think they've had plenty of time to, you know, get the system back in order. I know that both the guys went away for the celebrations, and yeah, great to have Squizzer or Matty Barron joining us, and of course Madison Down back after the absence last week.
Definitely heading up for a fantastic race. I think it's going to come down to who can get away from the line and get through turn 1 at the front to run away with it. But who knows what would happen in this race? It could be anyone's race. Who's your money on, guys?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you know, we saw Renz Brookman just dominant in the earlier race. I think he had like a 9-second buffer over P2, but you know, 25 laps is you know, going to be it's going to be a pretty solid affair. These guys are going to be working the whole 100 kilometres.
Yeah, I think it's hard to go past Renz, what we saw in the earlier race, but anything can happen, as we know, as we watch week in, week out.
The lights are on. It's almost time to get underway. Good start from Brookman. Down's got away as well, very well. He might actually get up the inside of Justin Ruggier coming into turn 1. Won't though. Fairly clean start to the lap, which is good to see.
Well, of course, from the front all the way to the back, we have got a good race, good clean race, I should say. We've got from Renz back to Oleski.
This is where it'll get interesting. The guys can't cut this chicane too aggressively. They'll get a penalty if they do so. Brookman nice and aggressive. Looks if the rest of the guys have got through there okay.
It's catch-22 through that chicane part. You want to be aggressive and fast, but if you cut it too much and get too aggressive with the corner, you can actually find yourself with a penalty. So the guys have done very well on this opening lap to get through there nice and clean.
Brookman already pulled a nice little gap back to Ruggier in second, then it's down at Hampstead. Those guys battled all race last race. There was a lot of contact between those two guys.
Just having a look at John Emerson here. Tight little battle right on the tail of Joshua Muggleton. We've seen that on more than one occasion this season so far. Richard Hampstead also in the mix there, up in P4.
I think I just said before the start of this race, P2 through to 6 had a really good battle. It looks like it's shaping up again. Gonna be great. Emerson,
Madison now. Madison is right on Ruggier's tail. I mean, he was right up on within trading pate type terms.
I think one thing that's fired up Madison too is, we spoke about how he found that little bit of pace in qualifying too. So it's a nice little shot in the arm that he finds himself tucked in behind Ruggier, and he'd be pretty keen to get the job done so he can concentrate on chasing down Brookman.
Brookman already pulled away. Nice little lead, 1.2 seconds at the line. And it's growing quite quickly at the back end of this circuit.
Jeez, how good is it watching those cars go through that chicane? That's fantastic.
I was just watching Brad Ryan. He's got a bit of distance, bit of real estate between him, Chris Osborne, and Sean Kelly behind him. And he really gave it a good crack through that chicane. Up on two wheels, as most of the guys have been doing in practice and qualifying.
Mitchell McLeod, not the best of starts. He's dropped a couple of spots back to 12th position, so we'll watch him during the race as well. His front 6 guys have pulled a little bit of a gap from the rest of the field, but Brookman's going away, and then the next 5 guys pulling a little bit of a gap as well.
I love you. He said you're just pulling away. He was only a lazy 6/10 quicker than the rest of the field last time round. So Brookman's sort of doing everything right at the moment, just sort of hitting his markers, not worrying about what's going on the rearview mirror. But it's definitely sort of heating up for second place. We've got Ruggier and Down definitely battling it out.
Dale Richards in 7th position is definitely not a chance, not lost from getting a podium here, because these next 5 guys could take each other out very, very quickly. We were lucky enough to see that in the early race. I think everyone made contact with each other. It was one of those strange races, and hopefully we'll see that again.
The one thing we forget about too, sometimes the lack of vision when you're in these tight little battles. When you're tucked right up behind these cars, it's really hard to pick your apexes. And like we spoke about getting through those chicanes, if you get too aggressive through there, you can find yourself with a cut track penalty, which means you have to slow right down and back right out of the throttle. So these guys, you really need to be cautious of their whereabouts when they're tucked right up under the wings of each other.
Now, for those guys that have just joined us for the telecast tonight, the broadcast, the streaming, then you would have missed a flying lap with Richard Hampstead, currently sitting in P4, as I mentioned. And he was saying that, of course, it's going to be very, very difficult to get a pass here at Zolder. And I'll tell you what, so far, that has proved to be 100% right. I don't think, we've seen too many manoeuvres so far. In fact, lots of riding the bumpers, but we haven't seen any dominant passing going on.
Yeah, I don't think we'll start to see a lot of passing until the guys start to have a fair bit of tyre wear. This first 4 or 5 laps, I think we'll be trying to consolidate position and pull away from the driver behind, which we can see Brookman doing a fantastic job of. But I don't think Justin will be too happy that he's still got Madison down right on his tail.
Well, what a great sight. Renz, Brookman, Ruggier, Down, Hampstead, Muggleton, Emerson, Richards, Osborne, Ryan Kelly, and of course that is the top 10 of the order so far. And a beautiful, clean race. We just watched, of course, a fantastic first couple of laps with no incidents.
Yeah, it's actually been a lot cleaner than I thought. It's quite strange.
And that's no disrespect to any of those drivers too. We're not having a go at their ability or lack of, because sometimes it's difficult when you're at a brand new racetrack to the series. You know, you're so used to some of the circuits that we visit, you know, quite frequently. But it can be quite tricky when you go to a new racetrack and you get caught up in a nice little battle. Sometimes you can miss your braking marker by just the tiniest margin, and that can end up in big chaos. But everyone's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely not, Sam, man. You know, it's meant more in the respect of that you know, these guys are all professionals. They're all, you know, keen to score positions. They're all keen to try and win events. And I think it's a testament to the level of professionalism of both the series and also the drivers that we can get through a first few laps. Of course, what are we down now? Lap 5 at the moment, without any incidents. That's sort of, you know, definitely where I was headed with that. But up front, Rens Brookman is still leading, and he's got a 1.8 second buffer over Justin Ruggier at this stage.
Speaking of incidents and all the rest of it, just having a look at a bit of spectator chat.
Did I?
Andrew having a little chat about no one's hit Vale yet. Poor old Vale Ritchie's had the worst of worst weeks last week. I think he had more hits than Elvis, but
last night it didn't get any better for him, I'll tell you now.
Well, he'd be impressed with the way it's going now, because that car's fairly straight. So fingers
There's a
crossed.
nice gap in front of him and a nice gap behind him too. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. He'll be happy to stay in 7th if it means that he's got no one around him. So he'll take that if it means he gets a clean car home.
You're not wrong.
Little battle brewing for 8th right behind Vale Richards. Brad Ryan right on the tail of Chris Osborne, who's managed to get ahead of Ryan after the start.
Yeah, Brad's just dropped a couple of spots. He started out at P7, finds himself in 9th at the moment, but plenty of laps. We're only 5 laps into this event, 25 lap race, so the guys just need to be a bit cautious about looking after these tyres, because like we spoke about the earlier race, guys were struggling towards the end.
I think struggling is an understatement. It's just like driving on ice when you've got nice fresh tyres. Imagine that with no rubber left on your tyres at all. It's a drift fest. I think you'll feel right at home, Jace, when we get towards the end of this race.
I'm just going to go to a replay of Marty Atkins. Something's happened to him.
Yeah, just lost it around the hairpin. All by himself. We'll see quite a lot of that tonight too. We'll see guys lose it really, really easy in places that just don't seem like it would happen normally. Just with the surface, this track, really, really, really tough.
Yeah, and I know we keep harping on it as far as, you know, it's probably not as well known, this track. Sometimes it's really easy to overdrive a circuit when you're not quite familiar with, you know, your ideal racing line and all the rest of it. It's a big moment for Madison Down.
Yeah, I was about to say,
holy smoke.
Madison Down under a lot of pressure from Richard Hempstead, almost put it into the wall coming into the hairpin down that hill.
It wasn't all that long ago that we saw him on the tail of Ruggier. Ruggier sort of found his groove and started to pull away on Down, and Down's got his own problems now. That car's moving around a fair bit and he's got the hammer all over it.
And Muggleton's had a bit of a moment as well coming out of the hairpin, almost looped it around, and Emerson's right on his tail now. 5 laps in, the tyres are starting to warm. This is where we're going to see a lot more action.
It stays like this, it makes me grateful I'm sitting in the commentary box, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not a track I'll be happy to be out there in the battle with. I don't think I'd want anyone coming up behind me. I think I'd just move over and let them pass, because it's so tough to maintain control at this track.
Yeah, you notice that with a lot of the boys, you're getting the drift on. Cars seem loose, and you've got a lot of smart minds that are, you know, setting these cars up. And we're seeing, you know, some of the best guys out here literally, you know, playing drift driver at times. Just having a look at John Emerson, apparently P6 at the moment. He's right on the tail of Muggo as they go through
There
that
he
first
goes.
chicane. Makes a little move up over the hill. Will he have enough drive? I don't think so.
Really tough to get a move done there.
Yeah, he
Tough.
found himself on an awkward side of the racetrack, didn't he?
I'm finding it, tough watching these guys to get a move anywhere, in fact.
Well, he's looking quite hungry now, though. He's all over the
There he
back of
goes.
Muggo. Will he have a look up the inside? No, he thinks better of it. Just sort of decides to sit back behind Muggo and have another crack, but definitely got the pace on here. Muggo looks like he's really struggling with those rear tyres.
I go taking the alternate line. I've got it in nice and early. Yeah, Muggo's really looking like he's struggling with rear tyre grip. Now, we've mentioned it before many times that rear wheel spin does not help you in this car at all. Oh, in the background, Chris Osborne has a bit of a moment, almost into the fence on the main straight.
Well, Brad Ryan will get by Chris Osborne as we flick back and have a look at what transpired.
Oh,
Just a
lucky.
little bit loose on the exit. And as I said before, you're going to see some really strange things with guys losing control or almost spinning out in places that just doesn't seem normal at this track. It's really like driving on ice, this track.
Well, I'm not sure which one of you guys put the old commentary curse on Ruggier, because Madison is right back up on the tail of him, and he seems to have found his groove now. Madison still in P3, but he's really starting to apply the pressure to Justin Ruggier.
Morse had something happen.
Nothing's happening to Carl Watmore. I'm not sure what's happened, but it looks like he's in the pits and out of the race. We're not sure what exactly, but we'll try and find out.
Oh,
Madison
moving
down,
inside.
making a move. Madison down, making a move on Ruggier.
Hampstead's in a good position here to pounce as well, coming onto the next straight.
Nice little battle side by side. Ruggier and Down. Down had a really red hot go, but found himself on the wrong side of the racetrack. So Ruggier just holding position. These guys were in a tight little battle. The times are nothing in it. I think last time round, Ruggier found himself 3/10 off what Madison was doing. So, you know, the tyres have really started to normalise and starting to probably overheat a little bit now. And I think Ruggier's got his hand full, because not only has he got Down behind him, but he's got Hampstead ready there to pounce as well.
Well,
He was absolutely loving this as Rens Brookman. He gained a second and a half on that lap while these guys are battling.
he will be relishing in the fact that they are battling out for the, I guess, the minor placings, really. But Justin Ruggier 2, Madison Down 3, and Hampstead 4. An exciting group to be watching at the moment. How do they keep it clean enough through turn 1 and 2? Tell you, that was exciting stuff, boys. And the Hammer, of course, just sniffing, probably biding his time, waiting for these for Madison to make a move on Ruggier. And if things go pear-shaped, then he'll, you know, capitalise and take those 2 spots.
Yeah, I think Richard will just be waiting for Madison to get it in side by side, and Richard will pull in to the gap that forms because of that. So Richard will be looking to pounce when Madison tries to make another move.
Hampstead definitely going deeper into the braking zone than Madison. I think that's where Richard's really making up some time. But of course, then Madison and Justin getting better drive out of the turn.
Geez, how's the guys trying to feed the throttle coming onto the start-finish straight? That was impressive, because the guys, you know, you can't afford to go too aggressive on the throttle, because, you know, these guys are having a hard enough time, you know, trying to keep the rears underneath them as it is. But you start getting on the throttle and upsetting those rear tyres, you can find yourself battling them there for maybe 2 or 3 laps just to get them back to normalise a little bit.
Just back and back a bit, we saw Brad Ryan make a move on Chris Osborne for P8. Well, now he's got, Osborne has now got Ryan's teammate Sean Kelly trying to get by him to really consolidate their top 10 positions. So that's maybe a battle that we'll keep an eye on as well.
Another battle brewing back a little bit further in the pack, P13 and 14. Simon Black, Carwin May. Carwin's really come on strong since would have been the Phillip Island 500 we broadcast mid last year. He's done a fantastic job since then. He's really consolidated himself into a solid top split driver. He's consistently in the races every week. Good to have him out on track.
And how nice is it that he associates himself, within ANZ? Obviously we know what sort of calibre of drivers they've got, so that's really helpful when those boys go testing, and that's it's really a huge benefit for May to really develop as a driver when you've got that sort of talent in the background to rely on setups, which is good.
May's actually dropped a little bit behind, and Barron now looking to take advantage.
Well, as we go back to Ruggier, of course, he's now got Madison down on him.
Oh, side by side, doesn't want to close the door. These guys know that
Madison will get this done.
Yeah, he's got the perfect position for the next corner, so Ruggier's got no choice but just to open up the turn, and Madison very carefully covers his line there.
I tell you what, Hampstead is licking his lips as well. He's right back there trying to make the move as well.
Still 15 laps to go in this race too, guys, so we're going to see a lot more of this with the dying laps when the tyres are absolutely gone altogether, because these guys are pushing way harder than they should be.
It makes me wonder if Madison's actually going to be able to pull away a little bit, whether he's got anything up his sleeve and maybe make a bit of a gap back to Ruggier. But yeah, the tyres are going to be past their use by date now, and the guys really have to hang on for the rest of the race.
Here we go.
Here's Richard.
Hampstead looks up the inside.
Oh,
he's
Justin's
got
almost
too.
done it. Justin almost looped it around then. He's really struggling for rear tyre grip. And Muggleton's closing up on Ruggier now.
We're going to remember, I guess, Ruggier was setting the pace there. He had both Down and Hampstead on his tail.
Sorry,
a little tap.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Muggo dive in. Sorry to cut you off there,
No,
Jase.
you're right. I was missing the action back behind with Muggo right on the tail there of Ruggier as well.
All of this Brookman's lead now out to 6 seconds. As you said, it's Down, Hampstead, Ruggier, Muggleton and Emerson.
Yeah, Ruggier is struggling. He's stepping the car out mid-corner.
Muggo's nearly into the back of him.
Yeah, well, it's unreal how we're watching Justin drop back so hard. I mean, did he push too hard early on and really hurt those tyres? Because he's dropping right back like a lead balloon.
Just something we wouldn't expect from this team. It's really strange. I think Justin must have pushed way too hard to defend his position earlier, and he's now struggling for rear tyre grip. Muggleton might be close enough to have another go here.
I think Muggleton will, if he doesn't have a go here, he knows that. Yep. I was going to say he'll certainly be having a crack in the next lap or so. But so, yeah, we see Muggo step it up now into P4.
It actually looked like Ruggie almost let that position go. He knew that Muggleton was going to have a dive. He didn't want to defend it and cause an accident. So, I can't believe this. This is really strange.
You're not wrong. Sorry to cut you there, but yeah, it must be frustrating for Ruggier. Lap or two ago, he was in second place. Now he finds himself maybe dropping back to 6 because Emerson's right all over the back of him now.
Halfway through this race now. 12.5 laps scored. 12.5 laps to go. We go back to the battle for 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. Nice freight train down the main straight. Black in 13th, and it's May, Barron, Higston, Collins and Aloma.
Well, Barron actually picking up a couple of spots from his previous qualifier, so he's doing well in his debut at the main game. Currently in 15th.
Aloma also come from 23rd up to 18th, so he's done very well for himself.
Something that I've just been interested in reading in the chat that I've probably just forgot about a little bit is these guys don't have to make a fuel stop. Do we think maybe Justin's burnt up a little bit more fuel than he'd like, and he's probably cutting it close and having to back off a little bit?
Either it's just been confirmed or either the rumour mill's continuing, because team manager Clayton Brooks saying that he's using too much fuel on his setup, so having to slow down to conserve fuel to make it home.
Which would sort of make sense, wouldn't it? Because, you know, like we said, you know, moments ago he was in P2 and now he finds himself, you know, struggling to hold on to a top 5 position, and that's not the Justin Ruggier we know.
Well, being the first time here at Circuit Zolder, I guess, you know, the guys would have done some pre-race testing, and of course we saw the earlier race, but, you know, they're maybe pushing harder than we saw in the previous race or practice sessions, and that's possibly what's happening, boys. Imagine that. First race here at Zolder, and we end up with the front half of the field, you know, dying off from lack of fuel.
Wouldn't be the first time it's happened either. Remember back a couple of seasons ago at Watkins Glen, I think it was, Sam, and we had guys limping over the finish line and losing 5, 6, 7 spots as they were crossing the line. So we've seen it before.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We've got the two Mitchells battling. This is 11th and 12th. Mitch Abril, Mitch McLeod. Abril for Lazy Man Racing.
Oh, he's thinking about a look, isn't he? No, he thinks better of it.
Giving up a lot of time at those chicanes too, McLeod. He's not overly comfortable with the car and this track. I know from speaking to him, he wasn't really looking forward to this week. He's looking forward to it being over, I know that.
Checking back at the front, this battle between Madison Down and Richard Hampstead. These guys have found themselves just open up just a little bit of a margin back to Muggo. Probably the better half of 3 seconds, but looks like it's going to be Madison and Richard maybe battling it out for second and third on the podium. But
oh, sorry guys, to cut you off, back in the pack there, this great freight train battle that we've got. We've just seen, I think it was Samuel Collins, go real deep and lost a couple of spots out of it.
And now in a battle with Michael Fabian, he just sort of looped it around. As we said, we're going to see some strange accidents at strange places. Oh, he just a little bit into the back of Hingston, just couldn't stop the car into the hairpin and then spins it around on the grass.
So Collins losing a few spots on that lap. And I see now, I think it's Matty Barron, in fact, making a move on Carwin May. Can't get it done though.
Oh, it's nice and close.
He was right up beside him, and I think just backed out of it with the wrong line.
He's going to set up Hingston up the inside. They're going to go 3 wide into the chicane.
Oh, this is tough. You don't want to make too much of a move here, but the guys get the job done. Yep. Or did he cut too much of that chicane though? No, it looks like he got away with it.
It's fine. Good move. And Oleski now looking around the outside of Barron.
And
Barron's coming back. Oh, great. Oh, Barron.
Oh, don't you love that?
What great racing there. We spoke earlier about making some moves. They were going to be tough, but boy, these guys in the back of the pack, or mid-pack, are
this
really...
isn't over. Oleski's going to have a look on Hingston.
Oh, he's on the
grass. In the grass.
He's got the left rear on the grass. He's managed to pull it up though, but oh, what a shame.
Collins will now look to capitalise into the next chicane.
I'm back there, yeah, there's a little bit of contact, nose to tail contact. Now these guys will have a look under brakes, but great bit of driving. Everyone having their best shot at having a nice clean move, so well done everyone.
I think everyone can take a quick breath now. Quick breath. Even the director getting nice and excited.
It's hold your breath stuff, isn't it? When they fire in there under brakes, you don't know whether they're going to pull it up in time, but they obviously all knew what they were doing, and a great bit of driving on everyone's behalf.
Great to watch. Yeah, hopefully our director's going back to battle for P5 with Ruggier and Emerson. Emerson's been right on Ruggier's tail for the last 2 laps, with no more than a car length separating the two.
And the thing Ruggier's got to take into consideration too, if Emerson makes that move, I think Richie's is right there to snatch the position away too. So Justin, depending on how it all pans out, could find himself losing 2 positions quick smart.
Well, TTL really showing some dominance here at round 5. Richard Hampstead, of course, holding P3 at the moment, and Emerson 6 looking to get into the top 5, and Vale Ritchie's back in 7 also with the sniff as well.
Here comes Emerson.
Yeah, he's looking hungry. He dives up the inside. He'll get the job done. Ruggier just gives him a bit of move. Yeah, gives him a bit of space and gets the job done. So
Bale's going to have a crack here at turn 2.
And he'll get the job done
too.
Well, boys, that's if that's not conserving fuel. I mean, you know, looking at how many positions he's dropping back, that just doesn't seem feasible.
Brad Ryan's now closed up onto this pack as well very, very quickly. So he'll be looking to take advantage of Ruggier's fuel saving. This is just not what we expected tonight.
No, exactly. It's unreal, isn't it? You know, like we said, sitting in P2, and now Brad Ryan, he was a second a lap faster last time round, and looking to take that 7th place off Justin Ruggier.
Let's go back to the man at the front. Of course, we haven't spoken about him too much this round. Rens Brookman, he's got an 8+ second lead. 17 laps in, a little over halfway. So. We might just jump on board with him if we can and see what he's doing, because he's doing it all right. He's, of course, got that 8-second buffer over Madison down at the moment. Well, we've got
issues. Sorry, guys.
No apologies to you.
To you.
No, to you. A few technical issues. On board with Renz at the moment, but tell you what, he is doing a stellar job up front.
Brookman, of course, lives. I guess we shouldn't say close, but yeah, a club member of the Netherlands Belgium club. So this is technically a home race for him this week. So he'll be pretty keen to win this race this week.
He's doing everything right so far, isn't he?
I don't know if our director can show it, but that battle for 13th has got really, really close again. Black, May, Barron, Hingston, Collins, Aloma and Fabian now. So there's now 7 cars in the battle pack for 13th. A little bit spread from what they were before, but we'll keep our eye on those guys because they'll close up very, very quickly.
I tell you, somebody is starting to put a bit of real estate between him and the next guy back. Is Ritchie's over Ruggier. Ruggier, in fact, has now also got Brad Ryan all over the back of him. But Ruggier, unfortunately, moving backwards quicker than we've seen him so far this season.
Downs also managed to break a little bit of a gap back to Hampstead as well, so yeah, he'll be rather happy about that.
Well, confirmation is coming through from team manager, of course, for Justin Ruggier. There is nothing wrong with the tyres. Stressing it's fuel. There is nothing wrong, so we'll take his word for it.
They're a sneaky bunch, those ANZ guys, so I don't know if it's true or not.
If it is fuel, though, they are doing the right thing. As frustrating as it is to give up those positions, you'd rather give up a couple of positions on track than find yourself not to have enough fuel and walk away with a DNF. So as frustrating as it is, they have to do everything. They have to look at the big picture and think about the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, as you said, you know, DNF is 0 points compared to a place. And, you know, when we're talking championship, and of course Justin is up towards the pointy end, you know, we certainly would, I'm sure the team would certainly want to see him take home some good points rather than no points.
Carwin May dropped a couple of spots back. Also, looks like we've got Mitch Abril having some issues as well. Sam Collins as well. Or if we can find out what's happened to those guys. Dabral's actually had a bit of a moment. Coming out of the first chicane into the second chicane, he's just looped it around the entry to the chicane, I think. No, he's actually just disappeared altogether. Having internet issues.
Yeah, just having a look at the figures. Looks like his internet's dropped out, which is a shame, but I think we have to put that under the old category of that there's been some sort of
Mechanical failure.
Yeah,
yep, mechanical
unfortunately.
failure. There's a couple of guys actually had internet issues tonight, so Cal Watmore and Sam Collins as well, also having internet issues.
Well, back in the pack, boys, Carl and May just picking up P14, P13, I beg your pardon again. So young Matthew Barron had got around him, but of course he's taken that position back now.
Hampstead up the front has closed right back in on Madison down again. Madison's starting to really drift the car.
It's funny, I was just watching that just as you said that. It's definitely not over. Hampstead looks like his car's probably the straighter of the two, and he's not letting Madison walk away with it, which is good. And we find ourselves lap 20 of 25, so coming down to the business end of the race where the guys have got what they've got. They can't afford to abuse the tyres too much, but they don't really have much left in the bank as far as good tyre wear, so it should be interesting to see how this plays out.
May and Barron still keeping their battle going. Barron not quite close enough to pounce, but
Actually, it's been a great battle between Barron and Hingston. Hingston's, I think they've swapped places a couple of times throughout this 20 laps so far.
Got themselves a nice little battle, a nice little 5-car freight train. These guys battling out, which is really good to see. We talk about it each and every week. There's just definitely not enough cameras to cover all the action, regardless of where you are in the field, which is it's sensational.
yeah, we really need to work on this picture-in-picture, I think.
13 from 13 through to 17, you literally could throw a blanket over them. They've been battling it out all race long, and just having a race within a race really between themselves.
I think that's the best part about this series. No matter how quick or how slow you are, there's always someone that's equally quick or slow as you. So you've always got someone to battle with, which is the best part about racing in this series. So I think everyone that races in this series will agree that the racing is what makes this series the best.
Yeah, and regardless of whether you're up front winning races, you know, each and every driver has got themselves a personal little goal. They know what times they can sort of do it on any given day, and if they find themselves, you know, they might say, you know, if I can get a top 10 tonight or a top 15, then I'll be pretty happy with that. And if the guys achieve that, they walk away, you know, rather chuffed with what they've achieved. So it's really good to see.
Don't worry, if I can win a race, anyone can win a race.
Back there, we've just had a drama. Sorry, we've had that battle with Hickston, and looks like
Oleski.
Yeah, Aloma's gone round, so
yeah,
bit of bad luck.
Fabian into the back of Oleski Omar under brakes coming into the hairpin.
Well, that's broken up that little freight train we had, unfortunately. Yeah, Fabian, of course, redressing, so that's great to see. But tell you what a fantastic start. We had all of the front runners so close as well. Now, of course, in the dying stages of this race, we've got we had the mid to backpackers running in their own great little race.
The battle for second definitely isn't over yet. Just watching these guys, Madison and Richard, they're both struggling for any grip at all. They've got nothing left in the tyres. The braking distances have really drifted out. This is going to be a great battle for the last 3 laps.
Looks like a bit of understeer there for Down coming through that chicane too. So the guys are probably, 3 laps to go here in this race. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this is going to unfold.
Oh, Hampstead really cut that turn 1 right inside.
Muggleton's also struggling for tyre grip. He's got Emerson closing up very, very quickly behind him as well. Also got Mitchell McLeod closing up on Sean Kelly. This is for 10th and 11th. Great battles all the way through the field.
Just back up the front, Hampstead on Madison Down. He's closed the gap through this slower part of the circuit.
This is where the tyre grip, you can really see how much they're struggling. It's Hampstead, massive moment.
You're not wrong, big moment. Last lap round, Hampstead 3/10 quicker than Down, but that car definitely moving around as Hampstead, he's having a red hot go. He knows he's slowly running out of laps, so I think Madison's pretty keen to keep him in his rearview mirror. I think he'll be happy because I think if... we just found out, big move with Muggo and Emerson having a great battle. This is really closed up. Emerson really keen to get the job done on Muggo. Muggo struggling as they both try to get the power down coming onto the front straight.
Well, if Emerson can get the job done, it will be his best finish this season. In fact, I'm not sure if he's finished this high in previous seasons, but certainly fourth would be his best finish for series or season 4.
Put me under pressure there, remembering I'm going to have to get my pen and paper out. I'll find my notes.
Emerson's
big
got some
drift from
issues
Emerson.
with, really taily. Of course, big thanks to Bigpond, xsimgear.com.au and Direct Clutch Services for bringing us this great racing, and of course V8sonline.com.au as well.
Go back to this battle I just mentioned earlier, Kelly and McLeod. McLeod still trying to get past Kelly. He's got the pace to do it, but just can't find a spot to do it. As we've been talking about all night, it's a tough track to pass on as Kelly gets a bit of dust up. McLeod might be close enough into the chicane. Half section of track here to pass though. Yeah,
Well,
to the battle for 4th. Sorry, go Jace.
I was just about to say Emerson is really menacing Muggo here in these final dying laps, or realistically about to kick off their final assault. And if Emerson's going to try and make P4, he's got about 4 kilometres to do it.
Yeah, the guys find himself on the last lap here at Circuit Zolder. It's definitely been the Renz Brookman show. He's walking away. He's got 8-second lead, and he's really done it with ease, hasn't he, tonight?
Yeah, he's not having too many issues. Yeah.
Well deserved win, for Renz. Definitely all credit to him. He's been a natural, as we discussed a little earlier, being the home track for him, effectively. So a definite natural with his dominance all week.
He's dominated from the start of the week, so McLeod now close enough to Kelly. He might be close enough to get this move finally done. Won't get it done. Brookman about to come into the final chicane. Fantastic win, the first win in the main series for XSG Infinity in its current guise. Renz Brookman takes out round 5 at Zandvoort.
Yeah, dominating performance by Renz Brookman. Was untouchable tonight. Madison Down crossing for 2nd place. Richard Hampstead for 3rd. Great little battle with Muggo, Emerson, Richie's, Ruggie across on the line. Unfortunately had that fuel saving issue, but brings it home in 7th place. Brad Ryan in 8th. Christopher Osborne coming around for 9th place, and Sean Kelly will wrap up your top 10.
Madison Down ran out of fuel just over the finish line, guys, so that's how close he was on fuel. Richard Hampstead's out of fuel after the line, and Renz has still got enough fuel for donuts.
Yeah, nice. What a fantastic addition to the series here at Circuit Zolder. I think the officials will be looking to continue returning here because it certainly proved to be a very exciting race. As those tyres progressed through the race, of course, the racing got a lot slipperier and we saw a lot more drifting going on from the guys. But fantastic win to Renz. Congratulations.
He'll be a happy man right now. Nice close finishes all the way through the field across the line. We're hearing a lot of guys running out of fuel as they've crossed the line as well. We'll run through the results in just a moment, but fantastic win by Brookman, but it doesn't end there. Testing will already start in a couple of minutes for a few of these guys for next week, so another good racetrack next week.
Yeah, we head to Alton Park. That's definitely turned on some great racing, a lot of undulation and some tight turns there. So really looking forward to next week. And like you said, these guys will literally jump straight out of this race and start cutting laps and working on setup straight away for next week.
Yeah, of course, last season we saw it was a fuel-saving race. This season it will be a little bit longer, so we will have pit stops. So pit strategy in a track that is really hard to pass. This is going to be a good race next week.
I was just about to say, I hope we're getting our frequent flyer miles booked up.
Yeah, I've booked you in some nice accommodation, Jason. I know you like it.
Well, I'll just do a review on it, shall I? No, fantastic. Got to say, the guys here at V8sonline certainly treating me well, and it's a pleasure to be a part of such a professional series where the racing is certainly some of the most professional that I've seen. Fantastic racing, right from boys the front through the mid pack right to the back. We saw plenty of respect.
We'll quickly run through the results. We've got Renz Brookman, of course, picking up the fantastic dominant win tonight from Madison Down, Richard Hampstead, Josh Muggleton, John Emerson, Val Riches, Justin Ruggier, Brad Ryan, Chris Osborne, Sean Kelly, Mitch McLeod, Simon Black, Matt Barron, Dave Hingston, Cohen May, Oleski Aloma, Michael Fabian, Richard Stamanovic, Luke Graham, Marty Atkins, then DNFs to Mitch Abril, Sam Collins and Cal Watmore. Oh.
It certainly mixes the racing up when we go to a circuit that the guys aren't all familiar with. It really turned on some great racing and some great overtakes that we saw.
Tell you what, a few of those overtakes, we really, I guess, thought that they wouldn't be made, but gee, you're right. Through some of those chicanes, they were definitely hard in mouth stuff.
You might as well go to the race winner, Renz Brookman. Congratulations, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was awesome. Really enjoyed that, even though it was a bit boring.
We've had people commenting you're actually making coffee and reading the newspaper out in front.
Well, at least the fuel to keep me occupied with.
Must be rewarding all that practice and testing through the week, and qualifying definitely paid off, mate. Looked like you were pretty much on cruise control for the night.
Yeah, exactly. I focused on quality earlier in the week, so I had a little bit more time to spend on the race set, since it's quite important here. And well, it paid off, I guess. I also really like to thank the guys at XSG for helping me with the setup.
You've worked very hard for it this week, Renz. We know how much you've worked, so I've seen how much you've worked this week. So you've thoroughly deserved the win this week. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Off to second place. Just held on for second place in the end as he coughed across the finish line. Madison Down, well done. Second place, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. It was a pretty exciting race there with Justin and then Richard towards the end there. Definitely worked up a bit of a sweat after that one, but yeah, good fun.
Madison, we noticed that tyre wear was definitely a huge contributing factor here at Zolder. Lots of guys drifting through, I think, more sort of turn 3, 2 and 3. How'd you find it?
Yeah, grip was pretty much zero after about lap 10 for us, and yeah, we made a few pretty big changes. Well, Muggo did, so thanks to Muggo for the setup first, but yeah, it improved it a little bit for that main event race, but yeah, front grip was certainly there, and the rear just wasn't at all at any of the corners. So yeah, you couldn't fighten it until about a fourth or fifth gear otherwise just loop it into a fence basically. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge.
We touched on a little bit, mate, through the race that you were absent last week. How do you find? Is there much of a transition as far as when you miss a week's racing to get back into the seat and sort of hit your fast laps again? Is there much of a transition having a week off there? Is it tough to get back into the groove?
Yeah, I hadn't driven since 3, so I had been out of it for 2 weeks, and yeah, definitely had my work cut out earlier this afternoon to get back into it. That's for sure.
Just like riding a bike, mate. You're straight back into it.
It was good. It was good to grab a podium. I was struggling a little bit for pace earlier this afternoon, and Muggo and a few others kind of said, "Oh, you'll be right," and yeah, ended up getting up there again. So yeah, but huge thanks to Muggo tonight. He did heaps on the setup, and the car was pretty body quick. So thanks, Muggo.
We might go to Muggo. Good drive tonight, mate. Managed to hold on for 4th. You'd be happy with that after where you were after a few laps.
Yeah, not too bad. Struggled for grip again, and then struggled for fuel at the end. But yeah, no, good result for us TTLR boys, I suppose. After Renz was in his own league, but yeah, can't be unhappy with that.
You're talking about tyres. Did you find yourself you got to a point where they just really fell off the cliff, or they were pretty consistent as they dropped off as the race went on?
Yeah, mine fell off a cliff with about 3 to go, I think. There was just nothing, no rear grip, no drive. So yeah, I had to try and manage that, and I was a bit short on fuel as well. So John came and gave me some decent pressure at the end there, but luckily held on.
I was just about to touch on that, Muggo. John Emerson really gave you a bit of a hard time. I mean, all legitimately, of course, all clean, but some really good pressure as far as racing.
Yeah. He was going for it at the end there. I thought he must have had a bit more fuel than I did. But yeah, luckily I had enough pace where it mattered, and brought it home.
Did you actually run out of fuel on the line as well, Muggo?
Oh yeah, a long way before.
Yeah, so that I actually noticed there. John actually caught up to you quite quickly down the straight, so you're very, very close, obviously.
Yeah, I got into about 3rd gear off the last corner, and then it coughed. I think I was lucky because I think he coughed at the same time. So
good race with John tonight too. We really enjoyed watching that. So thanks again, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
Now we'll go back to 3rd place, Richard Hampstead. Hammer, happy or disappointed?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy after that. I mean, started 4th, finished 3rd, so moved up a bit. Had a pretty... Yeah, I was following Madison most of the race, and then he got past Justin, so I knew I had to get past Justin straight away to be able to keep hassling Madison, which I did. Then I closed down on him pretty quickly, had a bit of a go. I nearly took him out because I locked the brake when I was down the inside of him, but I was lucky. And then I got a slowdown, which sort of slowed me down a bit. It cost me a bit of time.
Slowdowns do, just saying.
Yeah, it cost me a bit of time, which put a bit of an end to my run at him. Last 7-8 laps, I was just trying to close, but I mean I was closing a 10th one lap, then he gained 2 tenths over me the next lap. So then I was just hoping he'd run out over the line, but he didn't. So yeah, not too unhappy. No one could have touched Renz. I don't think. He was just in another league. So well done to him.
Speaking of that sort of brings me on to my question. What we saw last week, mate. That was pretty much you last week. How's your mindset when you come off a big race like you had last week, and then into practice and testing this week? I mean, a lot of people who are probably new to our sport might sort of sit back and say, well, hold on, he dominated last week. Why isn't he dominating this week? So, how do you sort of go about to sort of back that up?
I think there are a few reasons why, like the domination thing. I think some of us just. I think we nailed the setup last week. I think Ren's probably nailed the setup this week, and also when you're in traffic, the dirty air really affects your lap times, like hugely. I think that's probably contributing to these dominating races we've seen lately.
I think we might go to Justin quickly before we wrap up. We've got Justin and Brad here as well. So Justin, a little bit of a disappointing night for you, mate?
Yeah, that was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? The pre-races, the car had a lot of pace, and I didn't really change too much, but basically I had to change something to try and catch Renz, who's in a class of his own. And when I was pushing to catch him, I realised I was used a litre too much, and that's the reason for the slow pace. I backed down quite a bit, and Madison and Richard caught me quite quickly, and I wasn't shaving anything off the fuel. I was still a litre down pretty much halfway through the race, and yeah, that was it really. The race was finished, and had a couple of good battles with some guys, but yeah, just wasn't right holding them up. Just give them some space and try and run with them. But even then, last corner I coughed and just got over the line. So, but well done the Rens and all the guys up the front. Well done, and thanks guys for hosting, and thanks for ANZ for their support.
We touched on it a bit during the telecast, mate. That must be hugely frustrating. You find yourself in P2 and then shock horror. Unfortunately, you got to start saving fuel and you just sort of drop through the field. It must be sort of heart-wrenching a little bit. But on the other end, the last thing you want to do is actually run out of fuel and get a DNF.
Yeah, you want to avoid that at all costs, and you want to avoid contact with any other driver to have a DNF as well. So yeah, you're right. It's definitely frustrating for me. I haven't learnt the art of saving fuel and being fast like Renz and Richard and Madison and all the other guys. They seem to do it quite well, but I struggle in that department. But when we come to a race where we can go 100%, I'll be back in the top 5 again. But we'll just keep pressing on.
Justin, the first, I guess, probably 5 or 6 laps were so intense. We had you in P2, of course, with a little train behind you. I thought initially that it was your tyres, because you literally had to set the pace based on who and what was following you. But that wasn't the case, and we had Clayton, of course, Brooks, your team manager, the communications up and down. No, it's fuel. So my apologies, mate. I definitely thought it was tyres set due to the fact that you guys were pushing hard.
The other thing is too, what a lot of people don't see, when you fuel save, your driving style changes quite considerably, and no blipping on the brakes and picking up the throttle at the right time and rolling out at the right time is important too. And yeah, for me to pretty much the last 2 days when I've been on, sort of been used to that, and then litre down's quite a lot that you have to pull back, and we're lucky we managed to pull that back just in time really to get over the line. But yeah, disappointing result, mate. I want to be up there winning and challenging for the championship, not being in P7.
Well, next week's another week, mate, and I'm sure we'll see you up there next week, up near the front of the track. You'd do pretty well at Alton Park.
Are we fuel saving?
Pit stop this week. 30 laps, so you should be fine for fuel this week. You can stop if you need some.
Yeah, I've got a new crew now. It's all good.
I also got Brad Ryan in as well. Brad, not a bad result for you, and a good qualifying result for you, moving up in the last session.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Quali was pretty sick. It was pretty hooked up, but just sort of couldn't put the right lap together, but managed to split the TTR boys, which was all I was aiming for. And yeah, in the race I cost myself, let Val through and got a cut track and let Chris through, and yeah, had to fight back from there.
Now, I've got to ask you something. Now, Margo, you better listen into this one. Margo, I've been sent some incriminating pictures of you at V8 nights on Friday night from Brad. So, should the V8sonline Insider publish these photos?
Mate, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Brad.
No comment, Runner.
Brad, yeah.
I'll take the fifth. Mate, I'm sure you've got nothing more than what's out there on Twitter. So.
No, I know.
It's going to be in the Herald this week, apparently.
we had quite some fun on Twitter on Friday night.
Don't worry, we were all watching.
Twitter was awesome.
Thanks a lot to everyone tonight for joining us too, guys. Good luck for next week. As we said, we're off to Alton Park. Not a fuel-saving race. We'll have a pit stop next week, so I think everyone will be looking forward to that. We might wrap it up there, guys. Thanks again, Sandman.
No worries, Jay. Thanks, Jason. It's been a great round. We saw some impressive things in qualifying, some great moves during the race, and no doubt Zolder really turned it up for the fans. It was great for the series.
Yeah, pleasure, guys. Pleasure's all mine. And I can't wait for next week. I know I've said this the last few weeks, but certainly can't wait to get back in the box with you guys and see all the action.
Yeah, thanks heaps for joining us again, guys. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel, for round 6 of the Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series, presented by Bigpond Sport, Extreme Sim Gear, and Direct Clutch Services. Winner of round 5 from Zolder, Renz Brookman.